Hi guys, this is Hakim. Welcome to my channel. So in our previous video, we built this UI for our to-do list app with framework7. In this video, I want to write the JavaScript code in order for our to-do to actually work. So if you not watched the previous video, I highly recommend you to do that so that you'll be able to follow along. And also, if you are watching my video for the first time or you've not subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing as I'm making more of this video. So first thing, what you are going to do, we are going to add id to some of the elements. So I'm going to add an id to this text area, give it an id of to do input. I'm going to add another id to this UI tag. So I'm going to give it an id of to do container. So next thing we are going to do, I'd like us to switch this icon, because as you can see, the first item right here shows the to do is completed. So you should have this done icon instead of this access icon. So let's switch the icon. So right here I'm going to change it to done instead of access time. And we are going to change this to green. Then we are going to change the other icon. We'll change this to orange, and we are going to change this to access time. So right now we've switched the icon. So next we are going to do, we are going to add an array which is going to contain our to-dos. So we'll say let to-do list goes to, we add an array. So let's just add a to-do right here. So we give it an id of 1. We give it a title of first to do, then we'll give it a complete option of false. So next we are going to do, we are going to add a function called load to do. So we'll say load to do's. So add a function, we'll call it load to do's. So this is going to load the to do's to the page. So we are going to get that to do list container, this container right here. So let's copy this and paste it right here. It goes to document. We're going to select it. So so next we want to add a for loop. This is going to loop the to-dos. So say let I equals to 0, sorry, as long as I is less than to do list dot length I plus plus. So we'll say we are going to add an if statement condition. So you're going to check if the to do is true. So we'll get the current to do dot, say dot complete, sorry, complete, not title, else the to do is not complete. So inside here we are going to get this to do list right here. That is for the complete part, this list that is complete. So we are going to cut it. We are going to paste it right here. So we say to do container dot inner html plus equals to. We are going to paste it right here. Then below here, if at the else, if it's not complete, we'll do the same thing, but we are going to get the other the other list item. Sorry. So we get this list right here. This list is actually for the uncompleted to do. So we are going to paste it right here. I'm going to add a title. So add a title and we'll say list to do list. Get the current item dot title. So this is going to show the title of the current to do. And I'm going to paste it right here also. So what we're actually doing right here, we are looping the to do, that is this to do list, and we are going to check if the to do is completed. We are going to add this element to the page, else we are going to add this to the page. So before that, we are going to make sure that the to do container is empty anytime we call this function. So we'll say to do container dot inner HTML is equals to empty. So we are going to make sure it's empty before we start adding any list to the page. So we are going to call the function right here. We'll say load to dos. So let's open our app and see. We have the first to do and it has a mark complete option. So if we change this complete to false to true, sorry, as you can see we have the to do with done icon and does not have a mark complete option. The next thing we are going to do, we are going to add to do to the page. So we'll add a function, we'll give it a name of add to do. So inside this function, we are going to grab the to do, the input. So we'll say input is equals to document dot get element by id. We'll give it okay, we gave it to do input. So we are just getting this input right here. We are getting this input right here. So to add new to do, what you are going to do, we are going to push a new object to the array. So to do that, we'll say to do list dot push. So we are going to push new object. I'm going to give it an ID. So this ID, we want it to increment. So if the first to do ID is 1, want it to be 2, so that we will not have the same ID, which it might cause issue. So create a variable, we'll call it new to do ID. So what you are going to do right now, we are going to get the last to do, that is the last item in the array. So to get the last item, we'll say to do list open bracket and we'll say to do list dot length -1. So what we're actually doing right here, we are trying to get the index of the last item. So if the to do list is 3, if there is 3 items in the to do, so it's going to have length of 3 and array start from 0. So to access the last items is going to be 2. So we are going to take the length -1, which is going to give us 2. I'll be able to get the last item. So we only need the ID of the last item and we want to increment it. So we'll say +1. So we are going to add it right here. We'll say new to do ID. Next we are going to do, we are going to give it a title. So the title is going to come from this input. We'll say input dot value dot trim value. Don't know dot trim. Why is bringing up node value? We only need value, not node value. Dot value dot trim. So this trim is going to remove any tab space from the input. So it's going to trim the input. So next we are going to set the complete option to false, because any to do a user add is going to be always false till the user click on complete. So next thing, we are going to make sure we clear the input. So say input dot value is equals to empty string. So it's going to clear the input. So right now, let's take this function and add it to the done button right here. So we'll say on click. So add an on click event. I'm going to add the button the add to do function. So right now, let's test. Let's open our app and see. So let's add a to do. We'll say second to do. Okay, right now we have the to do, but it's not showing up. So if we check our to do variable, that is our to do list, you can see we have two arrays with title of the second array with the ID of 2 and title of second to do. So let's actually make the to do to show up. So to make the to do show up, what you are going to do, you are going to call the load to do's function. So it's going to, after it add the to do, it's going to call this function, which is going to add the list element to the page. So let's add the to do again. So say second to do, and let's see. Right now it has showed up. So next thing we are going to do, we are going to add the mark complete option. So to do that, we are going to add a function. We'll call it mark complete. A function mark to do. So this function is going to take an ID. So we are going to add a for loop. So let's copy this. So inside the for loop, we are going to add an if statement. So it's going to check if the current item, if the current to do list dot ID is equals to the ID we just passed. So if it's equals to the ID we just passed, we are going to set the complete option to true. So we are going to say to do list dot complete. We are going to set it to true, and also we are going to load the to do's again. Then we are going to break the loop. So we are going to exit the loop, the for loop. So let's add the mark to do function to the list element. So right here, the mark to do option, we are going to add an on click event is equals to the mark to do. I want to pass in the ID. So we are going to pass in the ID. We'll say to do list the current to do dot ID. So let's see if it's going to work. So let's add the second to do. Say second to do. Then let's mark complete. Yeah, right now it's actually working. So next we are going to do, right now we can add an empty to do, which we don't want. So we are going to check if the input is empty. So right here in add to do function, we are going to check. We'll say if, so we'll check else it's not empty. We are going to run this. So we'll say if input dot value is equals to empty dot trim. So if it's empty, we are going to alert. We are going to show an alert to the user that is empty. So we're going to use a component called alert dialog in framework7. You can check that in their documentation. We'll say app.dialog.alert. this is going to be error. Then the message is going to be text input cannot be empty. You can add any message of your choice. So if this input is empty, it's going to show this alert dialog. So let's try that and see. Let's try and add a to do without adding any title. So as you can see, it's going to show text input cannot be empty. Actually, this error should be right here. So it should be like this. The message comes first, then this should be the error. So let's try it again. So let's see, text input cannot be empty. So next thing we are going to do, we are going to try and delete to dos. So actually let's remove this default to do. So let's make the array empty. But if we make this array empty, we are going to have an error. So if you try to add a to do, so let's try and add a to do. Say new to do. So it's going to give us an error, cannot read property of undefined at line 18. So let's solve that right now. Line 18. So we are trying to get the new to do ID, which there is no to do in the array, and it's going to give us an error because there is no to do and there is no ID. So what we are going to do, we are going to check if to do list dot length is greater than 0. So if the length is maybe 1 before it's going to run this line, so we are going to we are going to cut this. We're going to copy this and paste it right here. So the new to do ID is going to be 0 by default. Then it's going to check if the to do list dot length is greater than 0. That is, if there is a to do, there is an item in the array, it's going to run this line. Else it's going to give us an ID of 1 by default. Let's give it an ID of 1 by default. So let's try that and see. So right now, let's see if we can add to do. We'll say first to do. You can see the error is gone. So the next thing we are going to do, we are going to delete to do. So we are going to add a function to delete to do. So right here, we are going to add another function. We'll call it delete to do, and function delete to do. So also this is going to take one parameter, which is the ID. We are going to add a for loop also to it. So let's just copy this. So we are going to check if, let's copy this also, if this ID is close to this ID we passed. So I want to remove the to do from the element. So to remove the to do, we are going to use a method called splice. So we say to do list dot splice. We need two options. That is the index of the to do. That is the index of the array we want to remove, and how many we want to remove. We want to remove just one. So after that, we are going to load the to do also. Then we are going to exit from the loop. We are going to call break, so it's going to exist from the loop. So let's copy this delete to do function, and we're going to add it to this delete option right here. So we're going to add an event listener on click, which is equals to, we're going to pass in the ID. I will say list to do list dot ID. So let's copy this also and let's paste it. So let's open our app and see it's going to work. So let's add to do. We'll say first to do, and let's delete it. So right now we've deleted to do. So if we check out to do right now, we'll say to do list. You see the array is empty. So next thing we are going to do, we are going to save the to do in the user browser, so that once the user reload, you'll be able to get the to do's back. So we are going to add a function. We are going to call it save to do to the store. That is function. We'll say save to do, save to do's to store. So this function is going to save the to do to the local storage. So to save the to do to the local storage, so what you are going to do, we'll say local storage dot set item. I'm going to give it a key of my to do list app. I'm going to pass in the to do list. That is this to do list right here. But before we pass it in, we are going to say json.stringify. So the local storage only accepts string. So we are going to convert it to a string before we store it. So if you are not familiar with local storage, I have a video about local storage, which I'll be putting the link of the video in the description below. And also I'm going to make these files available in my GitHub page. So right now, after we add to do, we are going to call this save to do to store. So right here, after we add it to do, we are going to call the function. So paste the function right here. It's going to save the to do, and we are going to call this load to do's, which is going to load the to do's. So let's open our app and see. So let's add to do. We'll say first to do. So let's click on done, and let's reload our app. So right now we've saved the to do, but we are not getting the to do. So we have to get the to do and load the to do. So to get the to do, we are going to add another function called get to do's from store. So we are going to get the to do. So to get the to do, we are going to first check if the to do is available. So to check if the to do is available, we'll say local storage dot get item. We are going to pass the key. So pass it key. So once you pass this key, it's going to check if the to do is available. If it's available, right now we are going to get the to do. So we are going to set this to do list to the to do we got from the local storage. So we say it's goes to let's copy this. We are going to pass it. We are going to say json dot pass. Because you are getting a string, so I want to convert it back to the array which has the to do object. So right now, after we get the to do's, we are going to call the function right here. So at the load function right here, before we load the to do's, we are going to call this get to do's. So we're going to get the to do's from the store. Then we are going to get, which is going to set it to this to do list variable up here. Then we are going to get it and load it to the page. So let's open our app and see. So as you can see, we've loaded the to do. So we've added another to do. So second to do. So it's going to add the to do, and if we mark the to do complete, it's not going to show up. So what we have to do right now, we have to load the to do. So once we mark the to do complete right here, mark to do complete, you are going to save the to do to the store. We'll say save to do to the store. Then we are going to load the to do also, and also we are going to save it to the store right here. Once we delete the to do, then we are going to load it also. So what you're actually doing right here, once we mark a to do, we save it to the store, then we load it. It's going to get the to do from the store again, then it's going to load the new to dos. So right now, let's see. So let's click on mark complete. As you can see, we've marked the to do complete, and also we can delete the to do. And if we refresh our browser, you can see we have only just one to do. Next thing we are going to do, we're going to add a function called delete all to do, so that once the user click on this icon right here, it's going to delete all the to dos. So we are going to add a function. So our function, call it delete all to dos. So we are going to show an alert for confirmation. So we'll say app.dialog.confirm. We're going to use confirm. So I'm going to ask the user if they really want to delete the to dos. We'll say delete all to dos, question mark, give option of confirm. Then we are going to add a function. This is where we are going to remove the to dos. Then the last option, we are going to give it null. Then over here inside this function, we are going to clear the to dos. We say to do is equals to, we set it to an empty array. Then after setting it to an empty array, we are going to save the to do to the store. Then we are going to load the to do again. So let's see. So right now, if you click on it, we have not added the function to the button. So we get the function. Then we are going to locate that trash icon right here. Okay, we add an event on click, add the function. So let's open our app and see. So if we click on it, it's going to ask us delete all to dos, and if we click on OK, it's going to remove all the to dos. And if we reload the app, there is no more to do. So we can add our new to do. We'll say first to do. We can mark it complete. Let's add another to do. We'll say second to do. And let's delete it, and also refresh our browser. The to do is going to be there. Okay, that'll be all for this video, building to-do list app with framework7 and JavaScript. I'll be making this file available in my GitHub page. Please, if you find this video helpful, please like and also share. And if not subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.